Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Lee Boon Keng. I'm the director for the Center of Applied Financial Education, CAFE, which runs the platform-based learning track within the Banking and Finance division. And I'm also the director for the Center of Excellence in International Trading that runs the International Trading Program. So today I'm going to be addressing questions regarding platform-based learning, which is PBL, and the International Trading Program, which is ITP. Okay, so let's start with the first questions. Regarding the platform-based learning track, do other students get to learn the tools, or they also can learn it on their own? And is wondering if it is exclusive. So let me briefly describe what PBL aims to do. Okay, the platform-based learning track essentially aims to train students so that they are what we call job ready, as well as future ready in the world of high finance. By high finance, what I essentially mean are areas like asset management, corporate finance, in the global financial markets, so includes trading in global financial markets, capital markets, right? So how do we make sure that students are desk ready? The way that we do that is to cover topics that are essentially important for you to build a very strong understanding on the financial market. So in the second year, there are two courses that all PBL students must do, and they are namely global financial markets as well as investment products. So when we're doing the global financial markets, right, you will be exposed to issues regarding global financial markets, like for example, monetary policies, particularly the Federal Reserve, MAS, and People's Bank of China, how they all come together to impact the market. For example, just last Tuesday, the Federal Reserve lowered the Fed funds target rate by 50 basis points. What does that mean to the market? And of course, right, why did the market react in a certain way? And then another very important topic will be to analyze specific central banks. So from monetary policies, we'll move to central banks. And last but not least, we will spend quite a bit of time on messages from the market. In other words, what the market is telling us, right, through all the various changes in prices. All right, so you'll be trained to use data to analyze. So why is it called platform-based? Because essentially you need to kind of download all this information to do your analysis, and then to write reports that will train you to kind of be able to write in a way that is understandable to a lot of your end readers, right? So learn how to write a financial report. I mean, that's very important, right? So that's global financial markets. And then the other course, of course, is investment product. This particular course requires you to analyze portfolio by deep diving into the actual using of certain platforms, right? Particularly Refinitiv, which previously was called Thomson Reuters, right? And of course to also use Bloomberg to actually help you in analyzing various investment products in order for you to manage your portfolio. Okay, so these are the first two second-year courses within the PBL. You must be within the banking and finance track. So if you're a double degree in banking and finance, you can sign up for this course. If you are banking finance students, you can sign up for this course, these two courses. Okay, so these two courses are open for all banking and finance specialized students. And then in the third year, that's where we train you to be future ready. So what do you mean by future ready? Future ready in this particular course is to allow you to know how to come up with micro solutions to meet your clients' needs. Okay, so how do we do that? Essentially, we train you how to code. and then use those skills to create financial applications. All right, so there are two applications that essentially must be developed out of those two other courses that will complete the platform-based learning track. The first one will require you to produce a systematically trader portfolio. So you have to code, right, whatever you want to, the portfolio to systematically manage the returns, all right? And the second one, of course, relates to you actually producing a financial application. This financial application could range from providing information, all right, about the financial market, about the portfolio, but it must be a financial application. It can be a mobile application, it can be a application that can be used only on a laptop, etc. But you must learn how to code it, right? So in the meanwhile, while you're learning all the coding, we will have somebody to train you how to do the coding. We will also invite industry specialists to come and talk to you about all the various elements of the financial market. So it could range from discretionary portfolio management to fixed income investment to equity analysis to private equities, right? So a whole range of topics will be covered by industry specialists. So if you complete these 4 courses, so let me repeat, right? The second year courses are global financial market investment products. The third year courses are portfolio management and analysis and issues in global financial markets. If you finish these 4 courses, essentially you would have completed the entire platform-based learning track. So the third year courses, of course, the prerequisite are the 2 second year courses, all right? But as I mentioned earlier, the second year courses are open for all students who are specializing in banking and finance. Now, Cafe, which is a center, we also engage Bloomberg as well as Refinitiv to come and train our students on how to use these platforms. Okay, so if you want to get trained, right, you can sign up for some of these courses and then learn how to use these platforms. And what we have here is that the labs where all these platforms are located, they are kind of open labs, right? But because we use them for training as well, so when there are no classes in that conference room, which is conference room 1 and 2 here in the Nanyang Business School, you can literally go in and just use those platforms to do whatever analysis you need to do. Okay, so that is answering the question about platform-based learning, whether or not it's exclusive, and whether or not you do get trained to do all these platforms. The next question relates to the ITP, and I'm going to tackle the first question, which asks, if I study ITP, will I be able to get a role as a trader in any commodity firm? Now, the ITP program, or the ITP track, essentially, of course, intends to train people to work inside the commodity trading industry. Now, within the commodity trading industry, trading is one of the roles. You could have other roles within commodity trading. There could be company, there could be research, it could be operations, it could also relate to shipping, right? So the entire value chain of what constitutes commodity trading. Now, do you get a job immediately as a trader? We do have students who kind of move into a trading position as a junior trader in various companies, but I would say that they are quite rare, all right? Because it takes years to accumulate experience to ultimately become a trader. So probably you will go in as a management trainee, and that role will allow you to rotate among the various departments within a commodity trading company. And once you are done with that rotation, all right, then depending on your interest and depending on demand within the organization, you can then perhaps find a role in what, right, you are interested in. So after working and rotating within the company, you may realize, hey, I actually don't want to be a trader, and I don't know how to be a good trader. I may find myself perhaps more or happier, for example, for being in the operation, or in the shipping, or in sales, or in research, right? So we do have students who have graduated in the ITP taking various positions, all right, within a commodity trading company, right? But to be sure, the courses that you would take within the ITP will expose you to commodities trading, right? Ranging from the risk management within a commodity company to actual trading and some of the operational part and some of the actual trading process in the commodity complex. What is the difference between taking the ITP track and ITP minor, and if it's with the double degree or single degree? Career paths are different. Whether you graduate with an ITP specialization or an ITP minor, the courses that are related to commodities trading and the ITP program, all minor and specialization students have to take them. Okay, so if you were to graduate with a minor, you would have taken the same commodities trading related courses that a specialized students would take. All right, of course the specialized students may take a bunch of other courses that will focus on some of the areas that are more specialized in. All right, so the career path and the career opportunities are somewhat similar. Okay, so if you are a double degree, say in accounting and marketing, for example, all right, yes, you can sign up for a minor in ITP. You simply have to complete all the 16 academic units in the ITP program. If you were a accounting student, a single degree accounting student, and you want to take up a minor, yes, you can sign up for that as well. If you're an engineering student specializing in chemical engineering, you can also take up a minor. Now, of course, if you are a student that is in banking and finance and specializing in ITP, in addition to the 16 units related to the ITP, you also have to take the required courses for banking and finance. For example, one of the core courses that you have to take within banking and finance will be investment, and you perhaps have to take 4 other courses within banking and finance, perhaps in corporate finance, in derivatives, etc. All right, so that specialization, likewise, right? If you were specializing in maritime studies, then there will be a bunch of courses you have to take in maritime studies, in addition to these 16 academic units of courses that relates to the ITP. All right, so just to kind of simplify things, whether you are majoring or specializing or whether you're minoring in ITP, the courses that you have to take, right, will be similar. 16 units of courses related to the ITP. Career opportunities, similar. If you are minoring in ITP, you also get to enjoy all the things that CEIT, the center, offers to our specialized students. Okay? So for example, if you go sign up for our trip, experiential learning trip for in Indonesia or in China or in Australia, right? You will also get the same kind of subsidies that we offer our specialized students. Okay, so we want to encourage as many students who are not perhaps specializing in the ITP to sign up in the minor. Okay, and the reason why we started this minor, perhaps that's a good part for me to start, is that there has been industry demand that says that we should open up for more different types of students Okay, so for example, instead of just focusing on banking and finance, perhaps we should also get people who are in data analytics, who are specializing in data analytics, but they can do a minor in ITP. We want to get students who are not doing a double major in engineering and business, right, but just doing a single degree in engineering, to say, look, I also want to get exposed to international commodities trading, and therefore I minor in ITP. Okay, so they are the same, right, with similar, I think, career opportunities. All right, and to me, it's equally demanding, with the difference that you will be doing different tracks. All right, you'll be specializing in different things. What is the difference between the NTU ITP and the SMU International Trading? The route is the same. Okay, we also got support from corporate partners, and I think the number of corporate partners are somewhat similar. I tell you what is the major difference. The major difference is the ITP in NTU have students from various parts of the school and not just from the business school. Okay, so you actually, if you're a business school student, you actually get to interact with engineering and maritime studies, which actually is a more holistic way of looking at commodities trading. Commodities trading is not just sitting in front of a screen, right, and doing paper trading, right, the futures and derivatives, right. It involves operations, it involves understanding of the commodity complex, and therefore the interaction, right, the ecosystem is more important than just having students coming from one institution or one facet, right, of the university, which in the case of SMU is mainly from, or I would say entirely from, the business school, right? So when Enterprise Singapore came to NTU and said, let's start this program, one of the reasons, and to be honest, SMU's program is a lot longer, right? Why did Enterprise Singapore come to NTU and say, let's start a program, right? The main reason is because industry people are saying that they also want that interplay between business school and engineering and maritime to come up with students who have a more holistic look or outlook about commodities trading, and to have this peer-to-peer learning, right? And I think that's a very important part and a very important differentiation between the SMU program and the ITP program at NTU. How is taking ITP different in business and in maritime studies? If you look at the 16 academic units that you have to complete, right? For business school student, we have one that combines trade Incoterms and ship chartering. All right. So as a business school student, as an engineering student, you would have to take a 4 AU course called Trade Incoterms and Ship Chartering. Okay, this is a combined course that business school students and engineering students have to do. But if you're a maritime student, you actually take a course called Trade Incoterms and another course called Ship Chartering. All right, and they will all constitute to the entire ITP program, right? And as far as courses are concerned, that is the only difference. That as a maritime study student, you are going to take ship chartering and trade Incoterms as two separate courses anyway. So before we make a change to this program, in the past we actually allow students in business and engineering to choose either trade Incoterms or ship chartering. Then we realize that, hey, you know, maybe if I'm a student from business school and I choose to take ship chartering, right, I may lose out certain elements of trade Incoterms. And if I do trade Incoterms, I may lose out something about ship chartering. So we decided that for business school students as well as engineering students, we will create a course that captures the essentials, right, the important parts of trade Incoterms as well as ship chartering. And that is the only difference between the courses that maritime studies students have to do and business school students and engineering students have to do. There are many ITP partners, so will we get a confirmed employment? Do they offer confirmed employment for ITP grads? We have right now a total of, I would say, about 35 corporate partners, right? They cover all the various sectors within commodities trading. So we have energies and chemicals. We have corporate partners in agriculture space, and as well as we have corporate partners in the resources and mining space. Okay, so we kind of have 35 corporate partners, I would say roughly equally distributed among these three sectors in commodities trading. What we have worked with a lot of these corporate partners over the last 5 years is a very good internship program. Okay, so we have corporate partners when they started with us without any internship program, and slowly but surely, I would say nearly all our corporate partners now take interns from our ITP program, from our ITP students. Do we have students who have graduated and worked for these corporate partners? Yeah, sure, right? And they have gone through an internship program. Some of them have been converted, some of them have been offered job upon graduation. So I would say that with this training, you stand a good chance, all right, to work for one of these commodities trading company because of your training, right? Because you get a chance to have internships with them. Is there a guarantee that you will get a job? Unfortunately, there's no guarantee in anything, right, with respect to finding a job with a company. All right, so sometimes it depends on economic condition, sometimes it depends on supply and demand dynamics, sometimes it depends on the chemistry between you and the potential employer. But what we hope to do is to be the center that is able to connect our corporate partners' needs with our students. So the center does a lot of relationship building with our corporate partners so that we will be the first, or at least we hope, we will be the first center that they ask if they ever need an intern, okay? Or they will be, we will be the first center they will ask if they want a full-time student employee. Okay, so that's what we aim to do, and we have a good working relationship with our various corporate partners. What will ITP grad do, and what is a day like for them? With respect to students, I mean, you guys got to study, right? But I can tell you something. What we do is that every twice a year, all right, we organize overseas experiential training, all right, for our students. So unfortunately, now we are experiencing this travel problems or issues with the coronavirus, but otherwise this is the week that we were supposed to be in China. All right, and so we have got experiential trips to Indonesia, looking at palm oil production, right, ranging from the nursery all the way to plantation, processing, refinery, and shipping. And then we have gone to Australia, all right, to look at mining. So you actually visit a mine, right, and again go through the entire process of the mining all the way to the refining and the shipping. We also, on these trips, we also get to listen, all right, to talks by various companies as well. So that is one thing that we offer our students in experiential learning. We also have this course called Industry Seminars, where we actually bring industry experts to talk to our students on various topics. All right, it could range from commodities financing, all right, all the way to perhaps even e-commerce. All right, so various topics, right, that will allow the students to actually have a broader understanding of what impacts the market. Okay, and of course, last but not least, as I mentioned before, all right, we hope that the students will focus on applying for internships, and we take that very seriously and actually connect with our corporate partners to ensure that there are good placements for our students with respect to interns. So when you graduate, we definitely hope that if you manage to secure a good job, that over the years, right, we will create a strong ecosystem of NTU graduates that's able to kind of help each other out, all right, and create a strong alumni. So that's what we hope for our graduates, if you ask me. Where do PBL students work in after graduation? We've got about, I would say, 4 cohorts who have graduated from the PBL track, and I would say that I'm proud to say that they have secured fairly good positions in financial institutions. I would say that there are students who have found jobs with hedge funds, they have found jobs with investment banks, found jobs with wealth management, asset management. They have found jobs with trading, right? Where there's a student who's doing FX trading, corporate sales, right? There are also students who have done work in consulting, all right, consulting. I also have a student that actually went to the commodity trading space, all right? So with the skills from learned from platform-based learning, I think what you are trained essentially is to be able to analyze the market, all right, and you are equipped with the I would say tools to actually deal with offering solutions for your clients. So I tell you what some of my kind of contacts in the industry nowadays when they're looking for students in this space, okay, i.e. in the space of asset management, in the space of corporate finance, and even trading. They're actually looking for people with coding abilities, coding skills, right? And I asked some of them, okay, why like for example, why trading? Why in trading, right? FX trading, you're looking for this type of people. So they say, look, most of the time they are looking for ways to understand the market systematically, all right? And it is very difficult to just look at information from any platform, let's say Bloomberg, right, or Refinitiv. It's very difficult to just look at information from that system, and somehow when you're asked the question again, to go back to the system and look for it. What they actually want is for any new employee that they want, to come in and be able to download those data, create a solution that is able to do that job in a repetitive and accurate way, right? So for example, I have people who ask me, look, if I want to look at how, for example, all right, when the Fed has intermittent rate cuts, what happens to the market, right? You can go to the system and kind of download, or you can create an application that automatically do that analysis for you, so that with a press of a button, all right, that answer is revealed, right, very quickly, right? Because nowadays nobody has time to do slow analysis anymore, right? Because if you don't come up with the answer quickly, all right, your competition will, all right. So as such, there are strong demand, what I consider as training students to be future ready. So yeah, PBL students, they tend to go into various areas, and I'm proud to say that they have done well. How do we train our PBL students to be job ready? Like I mentioned earlier, right, we do train our students, our PBL students, to know how to use the platforms, but more importantly is to be able to understand and analyze changes in the market, right? And I call this the following, right? At the end of the day, what PBL aims to do is to build the finance DNA in our PBL graduates, so that understanding the financial market becomes somewhat second nature to them. All right. But one of the things that we also do is that in that program, in addition to the financial applications and the systematically managed portfolio that we want these people to do, we also require students to write reports that are somewhat close to what you would read, all right, in a typical report from that you will receive from any financial institutions. So for example, students will be asked to write a short report on what do you think about the recent rate cuts by the Federal Reserve, right? So that kind of report is what financial institutions are generating, all right, once the rate cut happens. And we kind of train the students, we hope, right, we'll be able to get the students to write reports that somewhat are quite similar to what financial institutions will churn out, all right, and hopefully when they start the job, right, they will be very well equipped to perform. In other words, to be somewhat job ready, okay, to be really job ready. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I wish everyone a very good evening.